Welcome to episode 23 of the Pitbox Podcast. We are back again with yet another guest. You already see him over there doing the slow clap with the Gundams in the corner. And soon he will flip through his slideshow of pictures to let y'all know what it is in these time attack streets. We have the captain of PhD. And no, it does not mean player hating degree. It means passion, hope, and dreams. So we got Jackie Ding on here tonight. And if we had like that board to do the clapping, then we would clap. But don't clap because you'll mess
clap
up
myself.
the sound. There we go.
Oh.
There we go. That's enough. That's good enough. Cool. So we appreciate you coming on tonight to talk to us.
Appreciate you having me.
Of course, you got your teammate here. Well, you're the team boss, so that's kind of sort of your teammate, not quite your teammate, but you're under the same camp. We'll put it that way. She was able to come through and make this all happen. Mary, how you feeling today?
A little cold, but just had some dinner and I'm good.
Okay, you're fueled up, ready to go. Chris, how you feeling?
Oh yeah, we gassed up. 93. Ooh.
Oh yeah, that premium. Let's go. Jackie, how you feeling today?
Good. It's been a busy day, busy week, kind of. It's super lap battle prep time, so getting all the cars ready. My car's off. I started dropping cars off at different shops just yesterday, so it's kind of like a lot of running around, but we're getting there. Timeline should be met and all that, so I think we'll be okay.
Well, how many cars are you bringing?
We're bringing two, but both have to get a substantial amount of work done. So Supra's off at AMS, getting there some final touches done over there, and then Pikachu is off at a different shop, getting some roll cage stuff done. Hopefully, get that sorted soon. So.
Okay. I mean, we're definitely looking forward to it. You're going to record as usual for YouTube?
Yeah, we should. We should be recording some more. It's kind of, I haven't done a lot of YouTube lately just because we got so busy with everything else. I still have a video like 95% ready. I can just watch through it, like do all the caption stuff, and then it can be ready to publish. But it's just from like November of last year that we haven't finished even in February. So I'm falling behind.
Okay. Well, that's all good. You know, better to be busy than sitting on your hands. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Better to have something to do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So for our audience, you know, obviously we have our time attack specialists here, but not everybody is necessarily as familiar with your story as we are. So, like, how did this all come about? Where did this start for Jackie Ding?
Right. So I started, right, like, I don't know, like early 2000s, like as a really, really small child. I fell in love with F1, and then that became my gateway into motorsport and cars in general. And then we had a stream of Japanese anime influences, especially with cars involved in China. And that kind of made a lot of impact on me. So just a combination of kind of everything between F1 and some anime influences. And it wasn't even just Initial D. Initial D was a part of it, but it wasn't like the only thing that from the anime side that kind of brought me into this. But since then, kind of slowly gotten more and more into karting when I was around 12, 13. And then into Skip Barber Racing School, did Formula cars there, did competition with them, won a couple races, and then moved on to Formula 3 stuff, Formula Lights back then it was called, and then FIA F4 in US Championship. I did that in 2017, I think, 2016. 2017, graduated high school, went to college, and just had an S2000 as my daily. And I was like, hey, I'm in the area in Michigan, and they had Grid Life around. So we started doing that. So kind of 2017 was the first time we did Grid Life, and then they kind of just stuck with us since. And now we're kind of, this is going to be our 5th or 6th season of Grid Life. It's kind of crazy. And we're still in it. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow. What influenced the change from doing Formula cars to time attack? Because I'm assuming, being that you were an F1 fan and you were doing driving schools and racing F4 cars, you wanted to climb the ladder in the single-seater ranks, presumably.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely, there was a desire to go pro, right? There was the anticipation, the intent to do that. Just money. The next step was such a much more of a commitment, right? Even at the level that I was at, even doing F4 and F3 back then, it was about 140,000 a year. That's not small figures, you know what I mean? Like that's money that you put in, and by the next year you don't get that back. It's gone. You want to keep going, you got to put
Right.
more into it. And so it kind of just at what point do you say like, okay, that's maybe a little crazy? I think I set myself the goal like, okay, if we don't win the F4 championship that year, then we're just calling that quit. Because at some point you're gonna have to call it. You can't just keep throwing money into it. So just kind of stopped afterwards. I mean, it's not like I didn't want to become pro anymore. It's just the money game didn't make any sense financially anymore. So grassroots turns out is a lot cheaper.
Not cheap.
Cheaper. I didn't say cheap.
Relatively.
I didn't say cheap. I just said cheaper. It's always
Right.
relative, man. There's like you gotta look at the relatives.
Yeah, of course. Okay. Well, that's understandable. But if the opportunity came up that allowed you to get back into the game, would you?
I mean, it depends on what sort of opportunity, right? Like I my good friend Kobe Shield, from East Coast, actually, kind of with Virginia area. He got a pro drive with TCR in Road Atlanta for a Petit Le Mans. It's cool as hell. He had some backing, so I don't think he had to pay out of pocket, which is great. And that was only a one race deal, one race deal. So after that, he was kind of back to doing whatever he's doing. So, would you like to live that dream just for even a weekend? Sure. But if I had to pay out of pocket, would I? Probably not. Like, cause I have gotten like offers. Hey, do you want to come race our Super GT4? Do you want to come do this? Do you want to do? Yeah, I want to, for free, or like, do I have to pay? There's a difference. If you're telling me to come and do it for free, I'll do it. No questions asked. But if I have to pay, then you got to start like thinking about, is it worth it to spend $50,000 in one weekend, or use that to plan for the future, right? So.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to know because obviously we all have dreams, we all have aspirations, and I think sometimes the question is, how far are you willing to go to make it happen?
Yeah, I can see that. I think my dream was always like, okay, I want to be an F1 driver. I want to be an F1. I want to be an F1. That was like for like 10 years of my life. That's like the only thing that mattered. That's it. And then when I got into college, when it stop racing, it was like, okay, well, I just want us to keep driving a little bit, stay sharp. That's why we started doing time attack, because it was the most affordable way to drive a car to the limit, right? You can still do HPDE and stuff, but competition is what pushes people forward and keep you performing at your best. And time attack is, you don't have to bang doors with other people. You can just show up with a car you drove there and then go home in the same car if you don't screw it up, So that's kind of why we moved that way. So
I don't mean to laugh at that. It's just, a few YouTube clips definitely rolled through my head.
Right.
Quickly, Road Atlanta.
Yeah. Fun, like, in concept, time attack should be, relatively safe in concept.
Ideally.
Yeah, in an ideal situation.
Relatively
right?
speaking, safer but not safe.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way I designated, right? I just don't want to be driving on track and suddenly something barrels into me, right? In time attack, it happens less. It still happens, but it happens less. Versus in wheel to wheel, if somebody is trying to overtake you and misses a braking zone, well, say bye to your quarter panels and maybe the potentially half a frame in the car, right? So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, because I've been on not the receiving end, but I've been on the delivering end of that situation when I sent a dive bomb into my teammate at turn 7 Road Atlanta. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, Raph. I remember that one. The team was not happy with me that day. I was their boy, but they were not happy.
Oh man. Hey, I mean, with experience, right? We seen that happen. Whether it's just this past weekend, Rolex 24, Porsche on Porsche crime, LOP,
I don't know, man. That's not the same as what I did. Okay, that was like battling for the win at the end of a 24-hour race. It's elbows all the way out. Like I would do the same.
That's it.
Yeah, that was good racing.
That was
now
excellent.
for you. did you kamikaze your teammate? Like you called in the airstrike, or was it just like?
uh, yeah, I guess yes, yes. It was a. Have you ever heard the term Forza dive? Yeah, it was that. It was that.
Oh, you're
first
one of
lap. Yeah, no, it checked all the
hold
boxes.
on. First lap.
First lap.
Oh.
First lap, turn 7 road Atlanta all the way on the inside, dude. I was like, I'm getting these two guys on my outside, and they're not. Oh, never mind. I'm into them. And then yeah. Yeah.
Jackie.
You live and learn, you know.
That's it, man.
You right about that.
What are you gonna do? I was like 16, 17 back then. You know, I got shoved off at the start, and I was like, I gotta make some positions up. Right?
Yeah. You
half a lap of bad decision later, you know. Ended quite quickly that race.
See, I was hoping you were going to say it was the last lap, or at least the last 10 laps. You had to go for it because obviously with your driving style, you're going to go for it. But
yeah,
the first lap, oh, come on now.
It's a mistake. What you gonna do, right? It happened. Got to own up to it, and that's it. So
yeah, right about that. Oh man, I mean, I can't even pretend like I'm much better. Now I haven't had first lap crashes, but I have had my first incidents in the go-kart. It just is what it is. You know.
Well, go-kart is a little bit more get-awayable. You know what I mean? Everybody shake hands afterwards.
Way more get-awayable.
You haven't seen his videos, man. Ooh, I think I might have to.
I will find my Road Atlanta crash video and like that repair bill was not pretty. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of crunched carbon fiber.
Oh man. All right. Well, continuing on with the whole course theme, obviously your weapon of choice right now is your red Supra.
Yep.
Now we watched the development of the car for go ahead and get that sponsor deal. Go ahead.
Of course. Thank you, Koyo. Keeping me cool, all right, during intense conversations. Just as it keeps my car cool. Yeah, of course.
We gotta make it laugh.
Cool by Koyo Red.
But yeah, your Supra is one of the premier time attack cars in the country right now. Obviously, there's quite a bit of things that have gone into it in terms of development and brands you've worked with. Some pretty cool brands. One of them being CSG. Shout out to CSG.
Maybe not the coolest, but they're up there. All right.
they're up there for sure. How much do you think you spent developing this car? And I'm not talking how much have you spent on track time. I'm just talking parts. How much have you poured into this thing?
Honestly, like low estimate, probably like 80 to 100. Lower end is 80, 100 is top. That's including the car.
Okay.
The car was like 50, 52, 55, right? Okay. And then So if you really consider it, the most amount of money that we spent on the car was for the, what's it called? The aero kit. Because that's the big part. You know, the carbon fiber hood was like $6-7 grand. The aero was the splitter is literally where I built another guy for $7 grand for one.
Wow.
Full CFD, all the tunnels, one piece. What do you expect? You know, rear wing kit is probably like cheaper, like $3 grand-ish. But once you combine everything, you're gonna end up with a $25,000 bill for the aero, right? 25, 30K.
Right.
But that's like retail, and we have margins, but not that much on those. It's just because most of it was labor and time and materials. Carbon fiber is not cheap, especially when you make it like real carbon fiber, unlike a lot of the other brands out there that say are carbon fiber that looks like carbon fiber, and you cut into it and it's white and it's just fiberglass.
Right.
So yeah, like function over form, right? And things like the SPL, things like, you know, the arms, the coilovers, the brake pads, especially, they add up. But financially, by now, I think we're almost broken even on that car for very good reasons, because we're now not just a team. We're not just racing the car to race the car. We're racing the car to develop the car and then to sell the car, sell the parts, right? So
Right.
like whatever we put in the SPL parts, like 3-4K to start, I bet you we've made that money back just by selling the parts to customers, right? Whether it's someone who comes up to me, hey, I want to just do this to my Supra real quick, or hey, I want to build something really quick for the racetrack. Sure, we know basically everything that off of our experiences, off of what we use in the car, we know what is best and for each specific situation, right? It's kind of the PhD way to build a car. Tell me what you need, tell me your budget, there, bare minimum, or this is what you'd like. This would be nice, but this is minimum. So they're going off a tangent on that, but like 80 to 100K, I think is what we spent, but now it's starting to make us money because I don't have to put as much into the car now anymore, right? It is what it is already. So, yeah.
For what it's worth, I just drove an SPL equipped Supra last weekend.
How was it?
Going from mine, non-SPL obviously.
Well, yeah.
Full SPL front end on just springs. Night and day difference. Steering, incredible.
I told you, you got to get that. It just,
wow.
So responsive, so precise, so much feedback in the steering.
Yeah. For me, that's one of the biggest difference makers, before you even go to like coilovers and stuff, because coilovers dampen everything else, right? It does damping.
Yep.
Not dampening. I kept getting yelled at by my damper guy. Yeah. But SPL, it just gets rid of all the deflection, and you feel every little thing in your steering and in your body. And that's especially with the bucket seat, everything. It's huge. It's so huge. So yeah, we sell that as a package on basically every Supra that comes in. If you're coming, you need this.
Worth everything.
Yeah, worth every penny. It really is. It really is.
So you want to hook your girl up over here?
I will be placed in order.
They don't make anything for Civics yet, but I don't think they do they? What?
We're talking about her daily.
Oh, this daily. All right, well, I told you, just race the daily already, and then daily your race car.
That'd be perfect. Best of both worlds.
The daily is freaking faster than your freaking race car right now. All right, just stop it. Stop messing around with this.
Not like this.
Yeah. You can forever retire the TFTI FK8 account and just move on to the TFTI A90 account. I think that would be nice.
I'm working on it.
Oh God! Look at the bad influences. This is
I know.
Like sending me all these crazy texts and stuff because of you and Mike.
Hey, to be fair, it's more Mike. Okay, Mike has. I told Mary, hey, you should get this. She's like, okay, I'll think about it, and then came back to me, no. I'm like, okay, and it stopped. A couple of days later, she said, I got it because of Mike. I'm like, okay.
We did have a conversation about a 4-cylinder Supra, like
we did.
Way back.
I told you stop it. Stop thinking about it. It wouldn't be much difference to the Civic anyway.
And then I bought another. Yeah, then I bought another CTR. And then
yeah, you did. I still don't understand why you did that, but like.
It ended.
But like, okay.
Actually, it was good money because like I basically drove that car for free with what I traded it in for.
Okay.
It was not bad.
Nice.
Yeah.
Can confirm A90 is worth it.
For all the viewers out there.
Oh yeah, you heard it here. But we're not going to dig into her civic habits because, well, yeah, clearly, she got an addiction to VTEC. But everybody has their own vices. I guess that's the word for it. And VTEC is her vice, and now MK5s too. She goes on vacation and actually
rents a Mark V
that he owns.
Why would you do that? Rent a GT like a Cayman or something. Enjoy life a little bit. Yeah, you could have rented a GT4, maybe even a Cayman. Like some sort of Boxster.
So here's how.
But no.
There was an SI right on Turo for like $30 a day. So I rent it. I pick up the car, totally clapped out. And then I start driving and I'm like, oh God, I need my torque back and I need my heated seats and I need my everything that the Supra has. So I immediately took it back, got the Supra.
I need my everything.
What a shame.
Yeah, right.
What a shame that is.
Mm.
I had the nerve to talk about I should have got a black car. Please.
You'd be washing it every day for me.
Oh man. Sounds like a full-time job. Have fun.
I know. Like, damn. How I get volunteer? Oh man. But all right, so of course right now you're saying that the Supra is pretty much where you want it. Is there anything else
Close.
that you really want to do to it?
Uh, we can look into port injection. Can look into getting it more power. I think still at the moment, I'm not sure if we're limited on the fuel, but it would be nice to have more fuel. That there is always trade-offs. So I'm having to balance whether going that way is going to risk me having any fuel starve down the line. Because right now we have one surge tank in the car, and that's for the direct injection system. And if I add a secondary port injection and the surge tank is feeding the port side, then what about the direct side? Or is it just like straight up doesn't matter anymore? There's a lot of complicated things to worry about. But if we do port injection, it's gonna have more torque, it's gonna have more power, and then we're gonna run into trans slipping issues because my trans is still bone stock. So about 600 foot-pounds is the limit for stock ZF8 speed. After which six gears start like slipping like crazy. So we've been keeping it safe at like 550 torque, just to be safe, and it's plenty. It rose to 275 and the 295 AO52s we have, and the CR1s like roasting pretty easily in second and third gear. But yeah, it's a balancing act, right? We're at the point where you have to spend a lot of money to go a little bit quicker, right? And then you have to balance, how is it worth it to do that? Is it really worth it? How's most of my customers looking? And most of our customers, to be honest, are relatively stock power. They think 400 horsepower is more than enough for tracking. Drag guys want to go like 8,000, horsepower, go at it. Drag shops can have them. That's not my guy. That's not my customer. What we sell the most is brakes. I'm the best CSG dealer, apparently. I'm pretty happy with that title. Wheels, tires, suspension bits, and that's kind of it. A few AMS parts here and there, but still, yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I might have to get David on the phone.
Yeah.
You two got to work something out.
Yeah, no, he gave me a better discount for this year, so I'm slightly more happy about that. But yeah, you get on the phone, you let him know. Yeah, doing all this like advertising for you. So the CSG pads all we use on our race cars now, by the way.
He's going to watch this too, so
yeah, good.
Just talk right into the camera. Just let him know.
Better. I'm watching you, Dave. More discount, please.
I see you.
Order me some more super pads. I'm move them all. Yeah.
So you've driven the Supra. You also have your S2000. You have your 86. You've driven Formula cars. So how does the Supra in its current form compare to, I guess, the Formula cars? They're obviously very different.
Yeah.
But is there any sort of overlap at all?
No. Like it's just not really.
There we go.
No.
Yeah, it's Supra. The brakes are pretty decent, but you gotta imagine it's 200 treadwear tires. You're not on slicks. Factory ABS, so it still freaks out at some point. Versus a car that is like a third of the weight, and even though it may have like about the same amount of downforce, the car is lighter, so the downforce actually is a larger percentage of the car, right?
Right.
Because 3,000 pounds of downforce on a 3,000 pound car and 3,000 pound of downforce on a 1,000 pound car, that's different. There's a difference in that, right?
Huge difference.
One is doubling its weight, one is tripling its weight, right? So, well, math is off. Don't check me on that one. So realistically speaking, that car is like hyperactive. There's like no weight anywhere, and no power steering. So you're really having to fight the steering wheel at times. Especially longer carousels, like as it loads up, it becomes super, super heavy. The more grip you have, the heavier the steering wheels become in those things, generally speaking. But I really enjoy driving it, and it's always a thrill to like just jump back into one of these because it just messes with your head and your senses of like, yeah, I remember when I even just a radical, right? still closed wheel, but it's kind of closer to one of those Formula cars than a road car. I jumped back into one of these right after COTA, and I was driving kind of like, doing my best, thinking, oh, that's pretty good, pretty good. I come back and look at the times, like 4 seconds off the pace. I'm like, oh my God, and they're going over the speed traces. I'm braking like way early, and then like minimum speed is like 10 miles an hour off. And then next session, I'm like, come on, work up to it, work up to it. That's the thing. You have to like break your like limits internally just to be able to get to the limits of the cars. Right. So
Right.
professional race cars are quite something, and the brakes are awesome. Yeah, I just love those. I'd already asked my old team if they can hold the cars for me until I have enough money to buy them myself, so I can race my own old race cars. But they already sold it, so that's no longer a possibility. So
Yeah. The reason I asked it is because I don't really know too many people who have both driven Formula cars and a time attack car of your level. So I really wanted to convey to the viewers how
yeah.
a street car with tens of thousands of dollars into it still is a complete different thing to driving a proper Formula car. That's why I asked you that.
Yeah, Formula cars is quite up there in terms of what it can do. I remember Roebling Road. It's decent, quick track in Road America, in kind of Georgia area. Oh my God. Third gear is as low as you go, and it's top of third right back to fourth, and you're flinging into it at like 110, and the thing just sticks. The only thing you're hanging on is the steering wheel. You gotta hang on to the steering wheel. So I really enjoy this experience of Formula cars in general. Yeah, jumping back into one of these is kind of like MotoGP bike onto regular kind of almost like moped. The difference
Right.
is huge, right? So
It's like a super bike versus a bicycle.
actually, maybe the better way to experience it is like a jet fighter versus a, not quite a Cessna, but like a Boeing 737 kind of deal. There's more weight
Oh,
to lug
wow.
around, right? Everything takes more
Makes sense.
time. In a jet, you could just it'll just fly around everywhere. You can't do that in a commercial jetliner, right? So that's the way I describe it. Yeah, that's an exaggeration, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah, but that's something that the viewers can definitely comprehend a bit better than
Yeah.
some of the other examples.
Yeah.
Now, I think one of the coolest things that you did this year was your opportunity to drive at Long Beach.
Hey, yeah,
What was it like driving the track?
it's freaking awesome. It's I think I was terrified. The very first day we got on the track was a warm-up session, and they said, all right, here, we're gonna send you out behind these stock NSXs, like the brand new NSX Acuras driven by like safety car drivers. And the safety car driver didn't get the memo that we were newbies, so they went at what they think is IndyCar speed with like IndyCar safety car speed. So they were like gunning for it. So I got out of the pits. I'm thinking I gotta learn the track. I'm like scared of all the walls. And the safety car just shot off in the distance. So I couldn't even see it for like the 2 laps that it was on it. It was so funny. And I was fogging up my visor because I usually run with a visor down. Like, oh my God, what is all this? Like, it's crazy. It's just overwhelming. But once you start driving, it didn't feel too bad because you're driving on the racing line. You're not driving into walls, You're not looking for the wall. You're looking for your line. So yeah, just first 2 laps was quite something of just getting used to it thing.
Now, if you don't mind, let the viewers see the stack of trophies that you showed us earlier. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. This is but before I sound braggadocious or anything, all right? This is literally just, I don't have anywhere in our shop to put any more of this stuff. So this stack right here is all 2020 trophies. And because they no longer matter, we just stack them as dinnerware. They are supposed to be different like sorts of wood by Grid Life, and it's like really cool that they laser cut into every one of them. But like I don't have anywhere for these plaques of wood. They're cutting boards.
Stacking the cutting boards.
They're cutting boards. If you can't see the one on it, it just looks like wooden cutting boards. And the rest of those are like 2021 trophies, I think. So that is kind of nice. We got like the Ultimate Track Car Challenge, is SCCA one. Like where's my finger going? There. All the Grid Life ones, and then the Long Beach one is all the way over here. So yeah, that's kind of quick everything.
There you go.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't know. At this point, I don't think we do events to win anymore. At this point, we don't do events like, oh, we got a podium. We just like, let's just do our best, and then whatever happens, you know. So
seems to be working regardless. It's a whole
right, the car's too good. I'm being carried.
He's being carried.
You'd be surprised. That car is like really easy to drive, and I think Mary can attest to this. Like the ease of which to drive that car fast is not hard at all. You know, and like a good driver versus like a regular driver in an S2000, the difference is going to be huge, right? Because a regular driver is going to think, "Oh my God, I'm going to spin out. I can't make all these mistakes." The Supra kind of rectifies a lot of that like hard to drive issues. You still have to treat it with respect, but you can extract speed out of it more easily. It's really confidence inspiring, and that's why, you know, even pushing it as much as we did, it doesn't feel like any crazier to drive. It just drives like stock, just a little bit faster.
Right.
So
Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
Since
pretty cool.
The car is so good stock, even as it is. It's like
Yeah.
mind blowing.
it's nuts.
Compared to the CTR stock is like night and day.
I think CTR ultimately it's like a very good car. You know what I mean? But you have to be like a super good driver to get that much performance. Like Nürburgring lap, right? The Nürburgring lap for the Supra didn't need as good of a driver as the CTR to get the times out of it. I think that's the difference. You need like a Tomo Gorman for like the Civic Type R, and you need a Me for a Supra, and then you get to like close, maybe.
That lap that Tomo did in my CTR at NCM was
Oh yeah.
something
Oh yeah,
else.
that's kind of stupid. It wasn't that lap good enough for the class win that weekend?
By like 2 seconds
It's fucking stupid, that guy. Fucking hate him.
Jesus.
on supercar threes that were like totally clapped out.
Yeah, it wasn't even like to the backs of the class tires. It's so stupid. He's just like dumb. It's dumb fast.
Yeah.
What time was it again? Like a 2:15 or something?
Super fast.
14, something like that.
Fuck.
Casual, like
Yeah.
didn't even break a sweat.
Nope.
It's another day at the office. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
That's Tomo for you.
You're over there at PhD, you be popping a lot of bottles. But we had a situation at COTA last year where your team member wouldn't
Hey, okay. Hold on a minute.
Ah,
She's only been a team member at that point. That was our first event with us,
Like,
all right? We didn't
yeah,
teach her this shit yet.
That's not
Don't put this on PhD.
Yeah. Don't put that on me. That's all her problem, right?
You're the team boss. That's on you.
I'm like, wait a minute, you taught me how to podium at COTA.
Yeah.
How to set front wheel drive record.
Yeah.
How the hell do I open the champagne?
It's really easy. Like, okay, here, I'll be honest with you, all right?
We can't all do the bottle slam, okay?
No. Oh, here. The bottle slam thing is the funniest thing ever. I'll put it on picture. Just because I have another picture ready.
Oh my God.
Here we
I
go.
have it ready, all right?
Oh,
we go.
It would be a shame not to show this. But the very first time I did this, okay? I was at COTA 2020. You were there. You saw this. It's 2020. No, 2020 you weren't there.
I wasn't
2020
there.
was 2020 was the year before. It was me, Fiona, and like Alex and the boys. Like Alex and I were literally in there bawling our eyes out because that's the biggest thing we freaking won. And obviously, only a couple months ago we just crashed the Supra, and it was like the lowest point of our lives. And to recover in that sort of way was huge. And I didn't think
Right.
about anything else. I was like, I got this, let's go. It's best way for me to describe it. It's like how you deal with your first night. You just send it and see what happens.
We're
And it
getting
worked out.
traumatized. We
Yeah,
keep
it
going.
worked out.
Oh yeah.
You're getting
Definitely.
traumatized.
The viewers can definitely digest that.
Yeah,
I gotta check that this is not for kids box now. So
yeah. Not for kid. Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh my
oh
god.
man.
Oh man.
Jackie over here with the champagne
That
tip.
was quite the experience.
Yeah.
at
So
COTA.
if you podium again next time with us, and they have champagne, send it, see what happens.
We'll work on that. We'll work.
Okay,
on
we'll work on that.
But you
I didn't even practice. You don't practice with it. You just do it. You
Yeah,
mess it up, you
do it.
laugh it off.
There is
all
no
that.
practice.
that. No.
Figure it out.
The next podium, because it's happening again.
All right, yeah.
Next podium is going to be a croc shoey.
Oh my god.
I want out of this.
Whoa.
Please, can you
All right,
disconnect
this
me
is
from
on
this
the internet
conversation? I'd
now.
like to. I'd like to associate that.
On the
I'd like to
internet
make it clear
now.
that PhD does not condone shoeies, especially in Crocs. I know Alex. How dare you to drink from Alex's Crocs? All right.
God,
Oh, hell.
during a pandemic?
Yeah, that's kind of harsh. That's
Yeah,
kinda
the
unfair.
pandemic went out the
Uh,
window.
During a pandemic, bro? What?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, it's on the internet now, so it has to happen.
Oh no,
A croc?
not me. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Oh man.
Jackie's now keeping his fingers crossed for never another Mary podium ever again.
No. When you podium, you do the shoey. I'm not doing the shoey. There's a difference.
Wait.
Oh my
How did
God.
this transition
But I'm
into
like,
Jackie
well,
doing
why
this
am I
shit?
involved in this? I thought it's just you.
Oh
Don't rope
my
me into this.
Guess you wanted to do like a whole Cheers thing, you know?
No.
Jesus Christ, a croc shoey
Oh,
in a
man.
pandemic? Oh, Lord.
Sounds like the most disgusting thing I've ever heard, honestly.
I'll clean them. I'm not just gonna.
Luckily, the alcohol should kill some
Classy around here.
Oh, Jesus. We got told the PhD public relations after that one. Good Lord.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yo, we're getting demonetized after this episode.
We're discontinuing Mary's, team membership at PhD.
We're sending.
Subscribe for more.
Oh boy! Now, when I found out she was going to be part of your team, I was so hyped. I was like, "Oh, you're going to be with Captain Send himself?"
Captain
Oh
Send.
my god!
We do have quite a few titles at this point. We got the Bumper Destroyer, that was from New Jersey, GTA like 2019. We got Syndicus Maximus from like California boys. It's pretty cool. I quite like that one. That's like a Transformers name, you know.
Oh yeah.
I was about to say, yeah.
You also have what was it? John Ding.
John Ding, yeah. John
Yeah.
Ding was from Adam Jabay, Good Life competition director, and now even bigger titles now. He literally just could not pronounce my like Chinese name, like Jiyuan. So he just looked at it and said, "Oh, John Ding," and I'm like, "That's me." So that's the very first Good Life when I went on. Ever since then, I only registered as Jackie Ding, so that's why it hasn't appeared again.
Oh man. Yeah. But what made you decide to pick Mary for your team?
We didn't pick her. She just reached
Yeah.
out. There was there's no picking process.
That happened.
It's not like the football team. I gotta pick you. You be on my team. You know, it's like
Draft me.
Checking back and forth on Instagram and like
yeah. It's not like sub me in, coach. You know, let me do this. It's just
organically.
message me. You know, have a conversation about it. Like, what is it? Are you trying to do? Right? Are you trying to be a Formula One driver? They're probably not gonna take you. I'll send an email to Roger Penske to have him take you. But like, not me. You know, like you want to just have fun. You want to go time attack. You want to do your thing. All right, cool. Let's have a conversation, right? So.
Let's see how many DMs you get after this.
Oh my God. Please.
It'll be delayed too. It won't be like this month.
Yeah.
It'll be like 2024 when people come back and watch this.
Oh my
that
God.
you'll suddenly get flooded with DMs.
We'll see about that. Hopefully by then PhD is still a thing.
It should be. Seem like you moving in the right direction.
We're attempting to, you know. Then again, it's not just the right direction. You gotta like stay ahead of the direction. You know what I mean? You gotta stay ahead of the trend of what's happening right now, right? So we're already planning the next phase. We're already planning for the next platforms. Planning for what's 5-10 years in the future. You gotta kind of not necessarily put your monies that way, but you gotta be prepared for it just in case. We're like, okay, what are we doing in 5 years? Because 5 years will go by really quickly. We're kind of already like Alex and I kind of only started this in 2019, 2020 was when we first started. So when we did the first COTA, we didn't have the shop. So I'd say we're moving pretty quickly,
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the next 5 to 10 years, where do you think Time Attack is going to go in the next 10 years?
Yeah, I'd love to see it. Well, I'd love to know where it goes too, because a lot of time it depends on the rule book, It depends on who's doing what with what. And I would really love to see the Supra as a platform explode even further, because I think there is such a potential. I think we're proving it. I think year 1 and year 2 we've dominated. Year one, we're
Mm.
consistently on the podium, and once we fixed a few kinks and bugs of the car, this last year has been, I wouldn't say smooth sailing, but it's as smooth as a competitional season gets. You know, we did like an IndyCar level season all across the US, and I can't even tell you how many trophies we got. It got numb at a point. You know, where we were like, I was actively looking for competition. I was like, please, you know, because the dumbest part I think was when we went to Grid Life Road America. All right, that track was awesome for us because, you know, there was top speed involved, but the Supra was never all about top speed. It was about like high speed cornering. At a big track like that, you know, there's a lot of even like the King, the Carousel, aero was king. Aero and chassis balance, you needed to have that perfect balance to be able to do that. And I think that event specifically, we had a nail. So my very first warm up lap would have won the class. And then we just kept going, and then we ended up with a 217 with coolant on track. God damn you, Ferris. And the next guy in class was a low 220. So we beat the field by like 3 to 4 seconds. And
Wow.
because we got them by 3 to 4 seconds to second place couldn't score enough points. And he lost second place in the championship because we were so far ahead. It got kind of like, I'm sorry, I wouldn't mean to do that. I just wanted to see what the car could do, you know? So yeah.
It seems like you will continue to have competition from Amir with his NSX.
Yep. That car is mad. I think there's only a few cars in the country right now that is like at that level of prep, you know, especially in this street modified class, if you like. That's probably my most keenly followed build. That's like one of my favorite builds, honestly. Even if you include my own car, I still love that thing. There's just something about an NSX when it's being time attack that you're like, holy crap, that's cool. That's JDM as fuck. Yeah, exactly. You know, so I am kind of sad he took away the pop-up headlights and went to like the NA2 front end, but all right, you know.
Of course. Now, before we wrap it up, I'm gonna let Chris and Mary ask questions. Well, each will get one question if you have a question. Chris?
I guess ladies first.
So what's going on this year, Jackie?
We got a California tour. We got a California tour plan, and then we got East Coast. I think East Coast is on the plan. We're doing what I'm talking first off West Coast. We got Thunder Hill. We got Grid Life, Willow Springs, which is Streets of Willow and Big Willow. Should be cool. Trying to get some lap times there, and then Button Willow maybe. We'll see. I'm over that track. That track is like that's Amir's territory. You know, like have it.
It's just bad luck for you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't particularly want to go destroy the car there. It's heavier. You know, Amir's car is on the same tires, but like 1,000 pounds lighter. There's no way I can fight physics. I can't defy physics that much. You know. What else? Thunder Hill, Laguna Seca. We got a 103 decibel day at Laguna Seca, so I'm super hyped for that. No Laguna pipes, just run the car flat out as it is and see what happens. I'm super hyped for that one. And then Grid Life and everything is moving East Coast this year, so we're doing GTA New Jersey Lightning, and then we're doing Grid Life NJMP Thunderbolt, and then what's the other one? Lime Rock with Grid Life. So that one's on the list already, and pretty cool. I think we're gonna get to battle Ryan Turk's Formula Supra with our Supra.
Nice.
Yeah, that's I think I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that. Sorry, Chris, at Grid Life, but maybe we might have a 1v1 or something going on. I'd love to see that because that car is like that's where you have like
amazing.
That's
fuck you money, you know.
That's
yeah. Unlimited funds.
Yeah. I mean, it's not unlimited because he still had to sell his own drift car to go buy the engine, because that engine was gonna be the car, like the cost of the car of the Supra. It's like a 50 grand engine. So it's, you know, the money has to come from somewhere, but like that's so freaking cool that he's able to pull that off. So I'm super keen to see if we can get to benchmark each other. He's gonna have Amir's arrow on it, so I really can't lose with that, you know.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to not just seeing the car but hearing it. I love you.
It's actually not that loud. It really isn't that loud. It's like a straight 6 BMW with a turbo. It can't be that loud, you know. It's not too raspy because it has a resonator on it. So I think Soundtrap registered last time 102.9, so it's just under 103. But it's nothing crazy. Yeah.
Oh, but I was talking about Turk's car.
Turk's car, yeah, no.
I'm
Turk's
looking-
car is gonna be nutty.
I'm
I
looking
don't.
forward to hearing that. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that too.
Talking down
Can't
the
even lie.
B58. The B58 sounds good.
It does.
I like it. I
Let's
think
not-
it sounds.
let's not lie.
It's a very smooth sound. I enjoy it. It's not raspy. It's not like I'm gonna kill myself kind of. And it's just
Right.
nice tone. So yeah. And my favorite part about ours specifically, you can hear which map I'm in. You can hear from the aggression level of the car.
Mhm.
One sounds like the other sounds like There's just a little more gung ho in like the overkill mode. Yeah, because
Wow,
when I edit the video, I can hear between like this session when I ran this mode versus that session when I turn it all the way up. You can hear the difference. Not really in like a turbo whistle or it's just like the tone changes. So
How
it's kinda
aggressive
cool.
it sounds.
Yeah, exactly. So
Nice. So I guess my question would be, so at what point did PhD transition into, well, hey, I have this platform, I've gotten the car up until this point and my skill up to this point. Now I want to offer the ability for other people to kind of fine tune their own Supra or their, vehicle that they want to design essentially for the track. At what point did it transition into, hey, let me start helping other people, through this platform that I have?
So here's the thing. I think PhD started even before that. So PhD was at first just a team. It was just me, Alex, Fiona, the dudes trying to have a good time at a race event, right? We support each other. We do each other's, help each other when necessary, and everybody go race. That's literally how we showed up. First event, PhD showed up with a Subaru, our and two S2000s at COTA, right? That was our lineup. There was no Supra in there. And it was before that I started talking to Alex that I said, hey, I know people don't like this car on the internet yet, but I think there is potential. And I remember him really loudly like saying, why not just get a BMW M2? Why not get an M2 competition? They got more power, there's not proper actual BMW M car. You don't have to get like a parts source BMW that's actually Toyota and all that. And I was just dead set adamant on getting the Supra because we know, I think, for some reason, I don't know what it is that sold me on it. Maybe it was Akio being like super passionate about everything, about trying to make this car, the Toyota big boss, president, or just something about the car, like whether it's some specs that sold me on it. I think it's the wheelbase. I remember it only being 3 inches longer than the S2000. So, and the curb rate was manageable. So when I read those, I'm like, I think there's maybe a thing about this car that I can work with it, right?
Oh wow.
But it was a gamble because I didn't know how the transmission was going to be like on track. I didn't know if this fuel system was going to be up to it. I didn't know if I take 2 corners and the oil system is going to blow up, or the cooling system can handle it. So it was a lot of we jumped into it like blind. We jumped into it and had no expectation. The car could blow up on me the second day, and it turned out to be a gem, right? So you asked me when I started offering the service. We wanted to offer the service because even before we were formed, PhD as a shop was formed. I heard other people telling me, hey, this guy is selling parts using your name. Like, oh, the jacket thing uses this on this car. But then I never know that guy, know the salesperson. Right. So it got to me to the point where like, hold on a minute. Why is other people using my name to sell stuff and making money for themselves? Why can't I be making this money?
Right. Why aren't you doing that? Right.
Yeah, right. I'm making YouTube videos for free. It's always going to be free because I think it's accessible, right? That's how it should be. It's an entertaining thing. But if you'd like to support me, you can buy parts from me. We can have more conversations on how to support me better, right? So at that point, it was let's start selling parts. And what better way to kick off the whole shop? What PhD is known for, right? At that point, it wasn't going to be a Subaru. It wasn't going to be an S2000. We could keep doing those things, but those are established, right? Subaru, you think of IAG, right? You think of they build engines, they build all that. S2000, you think of evasive. You think of the big shops already done them already. I'm a small fish. I'm not going to fight in the big market. I'm going to build my own market. So when the Supra came in, we jumped on it. And now when you look at a lot of Supras out there, there are a lot of Supras with PhD stickers on it because I think we jumped into the market at the right time. So yeah, go for it. If you have something you wanted to do and there was the need to try and build a market for it, go for it. So it's a gamble that worked out. So I'm pretty happy with it.
There we go. So
Okay.
we got a little bit of motivation in there too for everybody at
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Anything is possible, and good on you for analyzing that from that perspective, as far as big fish, evasive, etc., and
Yeah.
then just going for something new that nobody has done before.
Yeah, and a lot of shops, like they look at the Supra as like, oh, they only sold this many cars, oh, it's this expensive, oh, it's not a real Toyota, then they don't want to do it. But
Yeah.
we did, right? And to us, that didn't really matter. So a lot of times, find your own market, find your own way, right? Find what you're good at, right? So you asked me, like, circling back to the very first thing we talked about, like after racing, after like pro racing, right? What did I want to do? You said about dreams and what you're willing to achieve, right? Well, after that, I wanted to do this. I just switched modes. Like, I still wanted to drive, but if my driving can be more than just driving, that would be perfect. It became not just a marketing tool. It became like a way to be affirmative of the way we tune cars, right? Because it now assists more than just driving and winning awards for myself. It now drives for a platform, for a group, and what it stands for, and the values and the technical ability that we bring, that PhD, the 3 letters bring, right? The brand brings. So ultimately, it's trying to build a brand. And so I think that's a more sustainable model, right? That's just the business CEO talk now. I'm sorry, but yeah, because we have to support, we have to sustain the racing program. Racing is money. Racing has a lot of money behind it, and money has to come from somewhere. So a lot of the customers that buy parts through us, that's where the money's going. I'm going to the next event. All the money you're giving me, whatever isn't going to parts, is going into the car, into the next event. So,
Right. Lasting impression.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Okay, cool. I think that was pretty helpful. I think the viewers will definitely like this episode. You definitely gave a few gems in there, especially right at the end.
Yeah, right at the end. Always got to keep them at the end, right?
Of course, gotta keep them coming back.
Sprinkle a little.
Keep them coming back. Well, cool. All right. Well, as usual, we appreciate you guys tuning in. As you already know, everybody's Instagrams will be below. Definitely make sure to take a look at Jackie's channel. A lot of good driving, on the limit, over the limit. Some technical stuff in there too. It's not just the Supra, also, as you know, S2000, A86,
GT3, Porsches. We're getting into Porsches.
Yes.
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 Yeah. I have even just as a small gem here. I have a Porsche Cayman EV on order. So whenever they come up with an electric one, which is probably in the next 2 years or so, I'm first in line at a dealership already.
Okay.
They're like, they told me we don't have a wait list for that. I'm like, start one for me. I'll put the money down right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, there we go.
Yeah, they got like 40 people waiting for the GT3, and I'm the only one for the EV Cayman. But you gotta look again, 5-year plan, right? So
that's it.
There you go. There you go. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Hopefully we'll have you back for episode 86. Whenever we 86, I don't know what year that'll be, but
and that at that point we'll only talk about 86 for the whole episode.
There we go.
That's it.
Awesome.
Cool. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more Pitbox Podcast.
Hey.